What's going on, guys? Little coffee talk, okay? Before we get into that, got to do a little something here. You guys all probably figured out by now this is like my favorite hat that I wear a lot all the time. It will continue to be my favorite hat that I wear a lot and all the time. However, it's got some miles on it, and y'all might not be able to see it good on the camera, but boy, it's getting a lot of salty sweat stains around it, and a lot of work been done in this hat. A lot of sweating been done in it, and it's starting to get so that all the salt and sweat and oil and everything else doesn't always come out whenever I wash it. So it's about time to relegate it more to a work hat, which is fine. I always need one for that. And needed to upgrade to a new one, but it's hot here a lot, and I wanted something a little bit cooler on the old noggin. So y'all get to be part of the ceremony. I picked up a new one that I've already tried on and wore just a minute or three around the house, and so far I absolutely love it. As you can see, it's a nice see-through mesh. It is a very lightweight, awesome hat made by none other than the great folks over at Helicontex over in Poland. Good people, good company if you haven't ever checked it out. I'm a big fan of their stuff, and this one fit the bill. Bill. It's got a nice soft sweat guard on the inside right here. So you guys are going to be with me while I actually patch her up, put my favorite go-to on there, and we'll get her ready to throw on the old noodle there. And man, I can even feel the airflow going through versus the old one. So much as I love this one, and it'll still be a part of the daily use, this one sure does feel good on the head. So enough about that. Little coffee chat, as I said, which necessitates we got to have coffee. And as the title says, you need stuff. Yep, there it is. I said it. Now, let's delve into that a little bit, right? A lot of folks love to do the old, it's not the arrow, it's the Indian. Well, that's true, but that Indian ain't much good if you ain't got a good bow and arrow. You need stuff, like you do. Now, before we get into that, let me preface that. I know there's a lot of folks that are on a tight budget, especially given the absolute, utter, completely ridiculous, unnecessary, inflationary bullcrap that we're in the middle of right now. Go Brandon, and you know where you can go and what you can do when you get there. I digress. Hold on. Okay. I know there's a lot of folks on a budget. A lot of folks ain't got a whole lot of money to throw around. I get it. I'm honestly in that same boat with you. You do what you can with what you got, and you try to make smart choices with your money and maximize your money as much as you can. But you got to have some stuff, right? So what do I mean by that? You're going to need food. You're going to need a way to cook the food. You're going to need a way to eat the food. If you've got a bunch of canned food that's got regular lids on it, you need a way to open that can. which means you need something to open it with, whether it's a can opener, a knife, whatever. You can open it with a knife, but it's kind of rough on the tip and the blade. Better to have an actual can opener, right? You need ways to cook that food. You're going to need a pot. You're going to need a spoon. You're going to need something to put it on top of a fire with, etc., etc. You're going to need medical items. You're going to need Band-Aids and gauze pads and Coflex and medications, and you need that stuff. You need to know how to use that stuff, but knowing how to use it and not having the stuff doesn't do you a whole lot of good, just like having the stuff and not knowing how to use it doesn't do you a whole lot of good. You're going to need a way to protect that stuff. You can have all the knowledge in the world on how to be the greatest gunfighter since Wyatt Earp, but if you ain't got a gun, all that knowledge doesn't do you any good. You can have a gun, if you don't know how to properly use it, ain't gonna do you a whole lot of good. You can take a couple of rocks, and especially if you're in an area where you've got the right kind of rocks, you can chip you out a sharp edge on a rock to cut stuff with. But having a good knife probably going to work a little better, right? You get where I'm going? Why am I getting all this? It's I know you might be tempted to say, oh, you're just playing semantics. It's not semantics, right? I'm being serious. Because there's a lot of people that like to sound all self-righteous and wax eloquent and pontificate and virtue signal and whatever else you want to call it by telling you, oh, you don't need stuff. All these people are just worried about having stuff. Well, what they're trying to insinuate is that you got to have knowledge. And they're right, you do have to have knowledge. However, the knowledge alone will not benefit you if you don't have the stuff, no more than having the stuff won't benefit you if you don't have the knowledge. I can try to yell at somebody way over there really loud. It's a lot easier if we got radios. You see where I'm going with this? Why am I even bothering bringing it up? Because I think it's important to people to have that reality check. Yes, I know things are tight financially, but when people go around telling, especially folks that are just starting to get into preparedness, oh, you don't need stuff. You don't need stuff. Just do this, that, or the other, and you'll be fine. I think it's being very disingenuous, and you're setting people up for failure. And oftentimes, a lot of the folks saying that you don't need stuff are people that's got a whole lot of stuff. And even times, not only are they people that's got a whole lot of stuff, there's some of the people that's got a whole lot of stuff and don't know how to use it themselves, even though they're talking about you just need the knowledge. Again, that being disingenuous thing rears its head. I'm always trying to train and learn and grow my knowledge base. And not only mine, but those of my friends and family. And yes, I know that it's fixing to storm. Thank you. I did not see the big black clouds out the window. Whatever would we do without someone to tell us that it's fixing to storm? Because the big black clouds weren't a clue. I digress. So, get your stuff, people. Get what you can. Be smart. Maximize your money. And really think it through, plan it out, do some research, but here's another problem I see. People will over-research something. Like, they will over-research it to the point of never actually getting anything because they find pros and cons with everything and they just start going down rabbit holes, and then nothing's ever right. Nothing's ever good. Whatever. And they end up not having anything or having a hard time deciding. Don't do that. Do a little bit. Make sure that what you're looking at getting isn't a complete piece of junk and a waste of your money. Think about what you want it to do, how much versatility you can get out of it, and don't think that everything's got to be universal, people. Don't think it's got to be universal. Sometimes you need dedicated things for dedicated tasks, okay? Having a universal thing, and I'll say this from a gear standpoint, right? Because I make gear. And this isn't me just trying to push my gear, but a universal rig that holds lots of different magazines and stuff, 99% of the time will never be as functionally good as a dedicated rig to hold specific magazines or equipment or gear, okay? That's just a fact. I don't care who disagrees otherwise. Now, I know it's popular to get a universal rig if you've got multiple different guns and you're trying to spend your money to get just one rig, but my question is, if you've got all these different guns and you can afford the mags and ammo and everything to go with them, why can't you afford a couple of dedicated pieces of gear for each one? Because that's the cheapest part of the whole equation. I'm just saying. Anyway, not getting down that rabbit hole. Do you need stuff? Absolutely. You need stuff. You need clothes. You need food. You need the capability to collect, store, and purify water. You need the equipment and items to cook with. You need equipment and items to treat injuries and wounds and sickness with. You need items to be able to defend yourself, those around you, and protect your stuff with. You need stuff. You need to learn how to use it all. Don't think for a second that you're going to get away and try to say that I'm insinuating otherwise. You absolutely better do it. But the window, unfortunately, is closing. And I don't say that to depress any of you. Again, talking to those of you that are newer and just getting started. But I truly believe the window of time is narrowing at a steadily increasing rate. You need to get your stuff and you need to learn how to use it. And you need to learn how to use it as quickly as you can. So, there's your little coffee chat for today. My cup needs a refill, so I'm going to leave it on that. Get ready. TikTok. Get your stuff, learn how to use it, and be ready if and when the time comes. Stay safe, guys. I'll see you in another one.